Good day, everyone. This is Louie coming at you. First thing I want to do is just give a shout out to Luke. He's one of the individuals that watches my videos. He works at a convenience store that I frequent, and I guess he's had some kind of surgery, and he's been through rehab, and now he's just waiting to be able to return to work, to be well enough to return to work. So shout out to Luke. We miss you. Come back soon. Now, the thing I want to talk to you about first off is let's talk about the school shooting down in Texas. I'm not liking what I'm seeing. I'll explain as usual. The individual that did the shooting went in and shot it up after he shot his grandmother. Now, from what I understand of the story, he was eating breakfast, and his grandmother reminded him that they had to go someplace, and she asked if he was ready, and he said no. He went upstairs, and I guess he come down and shot her in the head. It went in through the cheek and out the ear. I'm not sure which one it was, but she dialed 911 to get some help. In the process, he left, got into his truck, and he texted someone that he shot his grandmother and he was going to go shoot up the school. A few minutes later, he wrecks his truck and he goes to the school, and for 12 minutes he shoots at the school, and then he finds a door that's open and he walks in, and he walks into a classroom and starts shooting. And of course the police were called, and some children died. The final toll was 19 children, 2 adults. And there was several injuries. I don't know. I think it was 18 were injured. I don't recall exactly. The thing is, now that they're doing their investigation, they're putting their timelines together, the police had discovered that there was a lot of mistakes made. And the mistakes they made did make a difference, could have made a difference as to whether some children lived or died. And it is sad that they made mistakes. It's frustrating they made mistakes. But the thing that people have to understand, first off, when you're dealing with a small community, the one thing they don't believe is going to happen is an active shooter in their schools. The second thing they got to understand too is it wasn't the police's fault that these children were shot and killed. The fault lies with the assailant, the shooter. That's where the fault lies. Yeah, they have fault for making mistakes. And unfortunately, mistakes happen. You can train and train and train, but until you face the situation you're training for, you do not know how you're going to respond. I mean, we would all love to say that if it was my kid, I'd have been in that school in a heartbeat and I would have taken that kid out and nobody would have stopped me. And I would love to be able to say that about myself. But I also know that until you're faced with this situation, you really don't know how you're going to react. Some people panic and freeze up. Some people panic and go nuts. And some people don't panic until they realize that it's over with and they should have been panicking. The whole thing is you don't know. You really don't know. You get the adrenaline flow mixed with the chaos and confusion with the situation, and then the situation itself. You don't know how you're going to respond. I'm not saying what they did was right, making those mistakes, but but we don't know all the answers yet. That's for sure. We don't know all the answers, and a lot of times when they have answers, it brings up more questions. So I think it's going to be a long time before we know exactly what happened, and I think we need to be careful about how we look at this and about how we respond to it. Now, the left, because of this, obviously want to do more gun control laws. My question to the left is this: how many 18-year-olds are out there shooting up schools or public places where there's a lot of people? How many? And compare that number with how many 18-year-olds we have in this world, in this country. You can't, if a person's old enough to defend their country, they should be old enough to be able to buy guns. They should be old enough to be able to drink. But because everybody wants to curtail everything, only the law-abiding citizens are the ones that are actually being hurt by this. If someone wants to go and harm a group of people, you don't have to take away the guns for them. I mean, you can take away the guns, but they don't have to have a gun to do it. A lot of people drive a weapon every day, some all day. It's called a car or a truck. People use other weapons all the time. And believe it or not, more people die from being hit over the head with a hammer than they do by gun. So you're going to illegalize a hammer? You're going to illegalize a screwdriver, which can be used as a stabbing implement? You're going to illegalize nail guns that can be used as guns? See, that's the thing. Illegalizing something doesn't mean that it's not going to be used, and it doesn't mean it's going to stop the problem that we're having. What we need to do is start teaching our children morals, the value of life, gun safety, and as part of the gun safety, what can happen with a gun that's being mishandled. Let them know that life is not a video game. Life is not TV. They can do what they want in video games. They can do what they want on TV. But in real life, there are consequences, personal as well as public consequences, for their actions. And again, and I can't stress this enough, teach your children values and morals. I'll tell you, when my boys were young, I remembered Columbine. And I didn't want my sons to be a part of something like that. So I taught them about gun safety. I taught them about the value of human life. I gave them morals and values. And I'm telling you right now, I've got productive citizens. They're all grown. They're productive citizens of the states they reside in. And they have never once turned to any kind of weapon out of anger. They all own guns. Well, 3 out of 4 boys own guns. And one doesn't, but he has chosen not to own a gun. Not because he's afraid of them, not because he disagrees with the ownership of one. He just doesn't want one. Biden is pushing this for, to stop school shootings. He's pushing to take guns away from 18-year-olds. And I don't believe that's the right way. In fact, if you want to protect our kids, fix it so people cannot access the buildings. It's a shame that schools can't sit with their doors open. It really is. Get that fresh air in there and feel that breeze. When I was growing up and we didn't have this problem, I would walk by an open school door, and the feeling the breeze that was coming through, no matter how warm or cold it was, always brightened my day. It would make a bad day a little better. And it's a shame that our kids can't experience that now because of these individuals who decided that it's okay to go shoot up a school. But with that being said, if you want to protect our kids in school, there are other ways. You can prevent entry to those who mean harm. You can put armed individuals in the school and around the school or around the school. You can even arm your teachers. I'll tell you right now, an armed teacher will respond to a situation if they truly want to protect their kids that they have in class or the rest of the kids. And a lot of them teachers have their own children in the schools. So they're going to be careful with handling those guns. All they need is a little bit of training and maybe a little bonus during the year, at the end of the year for taking the time out to take the training and to be prepared. There's no reason why a teacher can't be a first responder inside the school just like they are outside the school. And don't tell me they're not, because I do know some teachers that are volunteer firemen, volunteer EMTs, volunteer this, volunteer that. Now, on to one more thing, and then I'm going to call this video done. I know it's a long one. I'm sorry. Because of that school shooting, one thing that hasn't been reported much about was an arrest that was made. There was an arrest made in Texas, same day, I believe, where an Iranian, illegal immigrant Iranian, had been filming and staking out the area of George W. Bush with the plans to assassinate him. Part of the plan was to get 4 more individuals to come across the southern border the way he came, and they were going to enact that plan. Biden has not done a damn thing to fix that border crisis that we've got going. Haven't done a thing. And here we go. We have an assassination plot to a former president. This is the Democrats. This is what they're doing. I know individuals who vote Democrat. I certainly hope they're holding their head in shame. I don't even want to get into the economy. I don't want to get into the inflation, the gas prices, the prices of food. That's something everybody knows. And I'll tell you right now, if we can drop the gas prices, prices on food will drop and inflation will slow down. But because so many Democrats are pushing for green, we're in a hell of a mess. But the Democrats really need to hold their head in shame, because thousands of individuals are coming across that border every day, and not all of them have good intentions. You know who you are. Remember, you're the one that voted for Biden. Adios.